That's art. She's a creative. My mother does beading. You understand? Beautiful beading. And she is uneducated.
Yeah.
She's an artist, but she never knew.
Yeah.
You understand what she was doing. So to her, whenever I said I'm going to Baxter Theatre or Artscape or wherever, to her it was all about, okay, we are safe.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, she would give me a small anyana 10 rand so that I buy the oros, maybe netwing or whatever when I go, so that I eat and fall in and I come back.
Yeah.
So that's the support, and that's only as far
she can go.
Maybe not, I'm thinking that I'm supporting my son, but I'm not going as
far as she
all out.
Yeah. Hey guys, my name is Khanyisa Zangqa from Mr. Loft Entertainment. Today we have Sibusiso Nyamakazi. We'll be talking about art, music, anything that has to do with Sibusiso. Sibusiso is originally from Eastern Cape, but he's been part of Philippi from as long as I've known him. So today we'll be trying to know better of what he does at Philippi Village, because we are in Philippi Village, and what he's been doing for as long as I've known him to be active in anything that has to do with community development, social development, and art. So Sibusiso Nyamakazi, please tell us a little bit about yourself and what is it that you do.
All right, thank you so much, Khanyisa. My name is Sibusiso Nyamakazi. I was born in Kofimvaba, in the village, the very small village called Ngabang, in Kofimvaba. Unfortunately, because of the previous laws, the past of this country that is unjust towards people of my skin,
yes,
my parents had to emigrate into Cape Town, just in search of greener pastures, basically, look for jobs, so that they could be better able to afford us at least, bread, more than anything.
Yeah.
So I grew up between Nyanga and Philippi because my parents had split. So my father was in Nyanga East and my mother was here in Philippi. I grew up between the two spaces, but I did my teenage years in Philippi, which is when I decided to stay with my mother full time and not just go to and fro between them. And that is when I think I met you, because that's when I enrolled in Sinetemba High School.
Yes.
In school, I think I was involved in a lot of extramural activities, mostly arts and culture, and just social development activities. And that is where my love for art and culture basically began, especially music. And basically that's just my story and how I got into arts and culture.
Yeah, so from what I know about you, since we went to the same school and you were my junior at that time, one thing I know about you is that you've always been interested in joining extramural activities. What did that do for you? Like, what did you get from joining extramural activities, a young man who grew up in the Philippines?
It groomed me, actually. It groomed me because as a very young kid, I wrote a play, I've got a manuscript. I wrote a book. It's called Democracy Through the Eyes of the Child, because I was born in 1991, and I was born like in between the transition into democracy of South Africa. So I've got vivid memories of what was going on, So I've seen people get to a point, or the country get to a point of stability. I've seen the first elections, but as a child, and I've noticed just all these movements happening, in the townships, and I've seen the expression of young people, and I've heard about old people, how their youth was. So basically, it's just a fiction, but it just narrates basically what it means to be born in the 90s in South Africa, just being born in between, because we are the people born between the born frees and the born oppressed. You understand? We are just there. In 1990, Mandela's getting out of prisons. 91, there's negotiations, up till 94, when we're getting our constitutional belonging to the country. So it's a very I would say, beautiful era to be born in, because you are able to actually say, okay, my innocence, basically, I had a choice, whether I take the past and see what I do with it, or I take the future and see how I get to it, and so that's one of the things that benefited me. It also trained me, one thing, I don't have a stage fright. I'm a good public speaker, I can MC, I can talk, I can express myself, I can debate, I can, as long as you just expect me to express myself orally, I'm able to do that without any hesitation, and I'm able to make my mark, in big stages across the world, express myself in a way that leaves lasting impression. You can go to as many publications as possible that have included me. When they say Sibusiso Nyamakazi, they'll tell you what he said, wherever it is in the world. So it's laid a stable foundation for me to construct myself and to become this art administrator that I am right now.
Thank you for that. And one thing that I think that comes to my mind right now, when you speak about the history and also how you being part of extramural activities in school has groomed you to become the well-spoken public speaker that you are, and also you've started your own organization. And what influenced that, and why did you decide to start your own organization? Was it influenced by the fact that you were part of a lot of organizations growing up? And why did you decide to start your own? What change do you want to bring?
What influenced me to start my own organization? It was inevitable, I think I displayed leadership skills like from a very young age. Because we had grown-ups who were like in matric, who were mentoring us whilst we were like grade 8 or 9, when we were doing like drama and all these things. And when the grown-ups left, and went to university, there was no one to carry on drama, there was no one to carry on with poetry, there was no one to carry on with music, with dance, with everything, so that opportunity, presented itself for me to be able to take the leadership position. And I won't lie, having gone to a primary school where music was very important, we had music as a subject, we wrote exams in music in my primary school, and so I always knew that I'm not gonna sit, at some corporate company and look at statistics and projections and whatnots. As much as in tertiary you're trained to do that, but at the back of my mind I was like, okay, let me go to tertiary, let me find out what I can learn. Project management, okay, management, mainstream, okay, administrative management, financial management, okay, let me get to this thing, do it so that I take these skills and see how do I implement them, and so that I see that I get to the negotiation table and I get to the boardroom and say what I want to say. So education is very important when you are creative, so that you do not die hungry. That's what influenced me, more than anything. Just the desire as well, to see to it that I do art the way I want art to be done. I do music the way I want music to be done, and also income generation. As I'm sure we'll get to at that point. But even now, everyone that is around me is getting paid a stable salary. So I'm using art also as a means of job creation and poverty alleviation. So we don't just get people to just expose themselves. No, we don't we do volunteers, but it's always people that are able to take care of themselves, and then we're like, okay, no, you're well off, come volunteer, but the people that we operate with, all of them are salaried.
So you spoke about your parents, you spoke about your involvement in art, and you just spoke about how people from the art world are actually benefiting from what you're doing. And one of the biggest problems when it comes to art, and the fact that parents are not supportive of young people that are involved in anything that has to do with art, is the fact that they always, just like you said, people don't get educated when it comes to art, and they end up not benefiting and not being able to take care of their families. So what did your parents support you when it comes to what you do? That's the first question. But also, what would you say to artists who are just focusing on the fact that they're creatives, not focusing on actually making a living? They want to make a living, but it's just that they're not going the right route when it comes to making a living, when it comes to art.
One of the biggest problems that all these systems that were put there, they were put properly to suppress us. The intention of apartheid was not that someday we get democracy and we become rich and we make it. The intention was so that we just we get destroyed. It's a destructive measure.
Yeah.
That's why even education, we were told, oh, you can't be an engineer, you can't be a doctor, you can't be this, you can't be, even if you have the same qualifications or better experience, it was illegal to pay a non-white more than a white in terms of salary. And those are things that today we see the likes of our leaders in Cape Town saying there's racial quotas in the workspace, whereas they know what the government is trying to do. But unfortunately, of course, we can't always dwell on that. I mean, our politicians are also not perfect, because most of these things, they don't use merit as well. They use like friends and so forth.
True.
But my parents were also not different. My mother is literally not literate. She cannot read or write, because she was groomed and taken out of school very early. She was groomed to be married, because there was no other system that the apartheid government afforded them, except each family getting ready to create its own legacy, gathering whatever they can gather, and then sharing children, and sharing relationships through marriage. You understand? So that they could share resources. So taking a child to school, school was not even a place for anything. It was a space that you learn mostly about church, because it was run mostly by missionaries. You understand? So my mother was not literate. My father was semi-literate. Went to school because he was a boy child up until the age then he had to get out of school as well, because the family's legacy, literally, education wouldn't do anything for it. You understand? So I wouldn't say they didn't support me at home, but I was born again in 1991, at a time when Mandela said, go back to school. I'm the only first person to enter into matric and get a matric certificate in my family. Ever. If you go backwards in my bloodline, no one. I'm the only person to enter into tertiary. If you go back to my bloodline, no one. I'm the only person to buy a car in my family, the first person to buy a house in my family, the first person at my age to build my home and restructure it. You understand? With building bricks or building blocks to fence my, like literally, I'm the first everything.
To do everything.
You understand? That's how cruel the system that they resided in was. So I cannot blame them and say they did not support me. My mother knew nothing about art. My mother was an artist. Even now, my mom, she's got some markings here that make a cross. You understand? Because in their era, that was art. They purified themselves. You understand? My mother can use clay to apply as sunscreen. That's art. She's a creative. My mother does beading. You understand? Beautiful beading. And she is uneducated. She's an artist, but she never knew. You understand what she was doing. So to her, whenever I said I'm going to Baxter Theatre or Artscape or wherever, to her it was all about, okay, we are safe. You understand? Of course, she would give me a small 10 rand so that I buy the oros, maybe netwing or whatever when I go, so that I eat and fall in and come back. So that's the support, and that's only as far
as she can go.
Maybe not, I'm thinking that I'm supporting my son, but I'm not going as
far as she
all out.
You
understand? With the limited resources she had, she gave them all. Even if they did nothing much.
Even though she didn't understand what you were doing yourself.
Like would go to camps at Leadership South, she would make sure I've got toiletries, I've got this.
That's support.
That is the support that she could give me. You understand? Of course, she would never walk me to auditions or walk me to a casting agency and see, okay, this child is doing this, find me a bursary maybe at Bishop's or whatever. She couldn't do that. She was limited. So that's the support, In terms of artists and money generating, I would say it's important as an artist to do research, and also to walk around and to not underestimate social media. I mean, you're an artist. This is art. What are you doing with your vocal abilities? You are putting it up on YouTube. You understand? If somebody wants, to do a talk show, you understand? You are not. We're living in this era where even if you just twerk and then you get followers, then next thing you are a presenter. Next thing you're on
an influencer.
TV, you are acting. You understand?
Yes.
You know, we live in that era.
Yeah.
But
Where
also
art
it's
is
the
not
same era
respected.
where the likes of McG, who were like banned, not necessarily banned, but cancelled.
Yeah.
You understand, by the village. And McG is an example of a child that was not respected by the or embraced by the village. And instead of banning it, he came, rebuilt the village, and called all the other people and made sure they build the legacy in the same village. So I respect him for that, you know. But you understand. So there's options like that to get your art out there. One TikTok could go anywhere. I go to I've been posting our work on TikTok in my personal TikTok. I go to the stats. I see who's been viewing. Even the clips here. You understand? Put them up on TikTok. Someone in Mozambique could easily view this following a hashtag. Someone in Singapore. I've got people in Singapore that view what I do. I've got friends, of course, across the world. Sometimes they're in Paris, but whenever they like or they talk about it or they retweet it, it goes across the world. And Lord knows, you know, next call I'm getting, I'm telling you, I'm going to this country, and everyone's like, yes, who is traveling? But underneath, I'm putting effort. You understand that there is effort. You understand that I'm doing. So the first tool is if you have a smartphone, try to meanwhile operate with it. The second one is try to get to learn what you're doing so that you can be a professional. You understand? Whether you go to Rainbow Academy, try to learn. You understand? If you've got matric, go to UCT every year. Go to the side of performing arts. There's auditions there, and there's also RPL, recognition of prior learning. You know, your artscapes have got resource centers. You know, so there's so much that you can do. There's an art center up at Philippi as well.
Yes, Philippi.
Those boys are doing a good job. You know, interact with them, find out what's going on. You understand? Mzansi Golden Economy or something, the Arts and Culture Department has got a call for proposals as well. So if you're an artist or an individual, go there, download that call for proposal. Ask for somebody who's good in English. You know, even if you come here to Philippi Village and talk to a receptionist at third floor, at Solution Space and say, look, man, this is for me to get income. You know, help me write this proposal to the Department of Arts and Culture. I want to do an event. I want to do this. I want to do that. So and also YouTube, Google whether you want to know how to write a proposal. Google how to write a proposal. You understand? There's ChatGPT now. I went on ChatGPT and I downloaded a letter for asking for proposals. I mean, for asking.
And it gives you all the
for food. Like literally wrote the letter in an English. I would have never written it myself. I screenshot it. I was like, let me do it. Let me just copy and paste it, of course. But there is resources out there. You know, you just need to make sure that you don't stop what you're doing, and that you equip yourself, and that you get it out there through these free platforms.
So let's talk about Playing for Change and the organization that you just started, which is now in Philippi Village, which is one of the biggest art and music programs in Philippi. And because you have grown up in Philippi and you decided to come back in Philippi because most people, and you've traveled the world, you've seen quite a lot around the world, and you decided to bring it all back into this Philippi hub. What is your organization and what do you do?
Playing for Change Foundation is a global foundation that was found, it's influenced actually or inspired by basking. You know, so people were basking, and then someone took a video, you understand, and then it just kept on growing and kept on growing. Slowly a band was built of different people with different talents. So it's sort of a cocktail of people from all over the world. You know, just decided to work together to play, so to bring about change. Then a foundation was created so that young people out there are able to experience that opportunity. So in a nutshell, basically, Playing for Change is that we use music, arts and culture across the world to just facilitate about change or bring about love throughout the world.
Like they say that music is universal.
So
is it exactly what you're trying to achieve?
Music is universal.
Sorry, are we going to stop at 10? Because it's 9. Okay. So one of the things that I've seen, like you once showed me a video, and basking has been one of the I think art forms that is not respected, especially in Cape Town, where you see people basking and they have this pot where they're asking for money, and people are not respecting that as art. Why did you guys decide that you are going to change the narrative when it comes to basking and make it more useful?
Well, when you travel the world, you realize how talent is out there. You understand? And some people just need that small, you know, voice, you know, that says, "I believe in you."
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't want to dwell much on that, but I want to say that now from what I see, as that playing for change basically saw or with okay, there's people basking around the world, but there's people like that are like extraordinary.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Like extraordinary, like doing amazing work.
Yeah.
You know, creative work that even if you switch on your TV or you play your radio, you would never find this voice anywhere.
Yeah, we
or
see
the
them
way
on,
this person
on
sings.
taxi ranks as
Yes,
well.
yes. But they're doing like amazing work. So I think that's just that, you know, enabling, you know, creatives from all over the world to not only just, you know, end up being, he's basking there,
Yeah,
you understand, but more creating, you know, a platform, you know, where you can say, okay, I'm part of this movement and this is what I'm doing, you know, and this is how, you know, I'm benefiting through it, you know, as an individual. So basically, I would say I believe that's one of the reasons why, you know, but of course, there's a vast of reasons, you know. There's more formal reasons maybe on our website, you know, that would answer to the question, you know. But yeah, just from me, you know, I mean, we went to, if you go to Zahara's recent social media posts. We went to airport, you know, to welcome
Zahara with your kids.
You know, with our kids, you know, she cried tears, you know. People thought we were performing. They wanted to give us money. They didn't know that we were just there to welcome Zahara. So as much as we may or may not think that basking amounts to nothing. But sometimes people just listen and they get, you know, like blown away by what you are doing. So yeah, basically it's just that, you know, just creating that kind of platform, you know, so that people's abilities can be further recognized.
Yeah, you just mentioned your kids, and what is it that you do here in Philippi Village, and what is this organization called? Is it different from Playing for Change, or is it part of Playing for Change, and what is it that you do with these young people that you've been working with?
It's not different from Playing for Change. Playing for Change is the organization. Imvula Music Program is the program implemented by the organization. So I am the director of Imvula Music Program.
And
I work for Playing for Change. You understand? Yeah, in this room, this is a marimba room, as you can see.
Yes.
So after school, kids come here, they learn marimba. Next door, we have guitars and we have saxophone. Yeah, behind you, we just purchased small keyboards, so we're going to be teaching piano as well. So here after school, we're slowly introducing nutrition program as well, so that abantwana bakwazi ukuza apha straight, you know, angaqali umntana ayendlini, you know, even or abanye mhlawumbe ezofika kungekhona. So we're trying our very best to also work in poverty alleviation, you know, but it's something we're starting out, we're still growing, we're still trying to grow it, you know. So this room basically is about that, and also our intention is to subsidize what the government schools are unable to do. Because government schools do not have these resources.
They don't.
And what happens when you are in an arts and culture period, you'll get told about Shakespeare. You'll get told, you'll read a book of arts and culture,
Maya
you're going to
Angelou.
find about Maya Angelou, which is not a bad thing, or Shaka Zulu, or you'll be told to draw a coat of arms or a South African flag, or to recite the Batupile principles. And all those things, you know, or Mandela's never gay speech,
and long walk to freedom.
Long walk to freedom. Although it's okay, but arts and culture is broader than what's on the textbook.
Yes.
I understand that the Vandermevers and the Diachas of this country are somewhere in Sea Point, you know, on Mondays. If it's arts and culture period, they go with their violin. You understand? They go with their saxophone box, you know.
Our kids don't even know.
Opportunity costs as well. Our mothers must buy bread first. A saxophone. I just bought a saxophone today. I don't know if I have a receipt. It's just downstairs. I'll show you actually. And it's I bought it on what's this thing, on sale. And I want you to read it out loud so they can know that how much is this money.
What? 9,095 rand.
Yeah.
I don't want to read like Jacob's own.
Yeah. So it's on sale.
Wow.
It's just downstairs.
9,000.
Yeah, it's just downstairs. The others are at school
Shucks.
because we have an after-school program in schools as well. So we're serious about subsidizing.
So you bought this for this program?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just bought it today.
So that's an investment.
Yeah, it is an investment.
Yeah.
It is an investment.
Wow.
So that's how hard it is to teach music to poor children.
Yeah.
You need to
invest in
invest
it.
a lot, and it's quite financially straining as well.
Yeah.
But we try, man.
Yeah.
The little we can.
So what are you hoping to achieve with this program? Why did you decide to start a program called Imvula in Philippi?
I personally am hoping to create more Sibusisos because maybe I could have been in a better place at the Imvula music program.
Yeah.
To groom me and to get me in a space. Maybe I would have far away from where I am. You understand? So I believe there's more children like me who love arts and culture because not all of us are going to be doctors and teachers and so forth.
The world would be boring if we all become academics.
Someone eventually has to perform at a wedding. Someone has to be at the commemoration, or at the opening of a World Cup.
Yes.
Someone has to be at the BETs, at the Oscars and so forth.
Yeah.
Someone has to walk down, the fashion week,
Yes.
So my intention is to our intention is to invest in the children while they are young so that we could create a different influence of professionals and role models. We don't just want children to learn here. We want children to learn here while they're in primary, learn while they're in high school. Go to UCT, go to Stellenbosch, go to all these institutions, Cape Audio Academy, interact with them, tell them we've got this guru, we've got this saxophone wizard. Don't tell me about it. This person has got an RPL. She plays like your professor already. Take this child, give them the recognition of prior learning. Let them learn this saxophone so that they can come out here with a degree, so that they can go to Cape Town Opera or Cape Orchestra or go to UCT Choir or go to Artscape and be the boss because they've got papers. Because black people from townships, they don't have papers. That is why they must always wait for calls and then go and audition at Artscape. After audition, you get on stage. But as soon as you look up, who's the director, who's this, our skin keeps on getting lighter and lighter. We want to change that narrative.
My last question is, one of the things that frustrate me, I think it's one of the things that probably frustrate you as well, is the fact that every time when Philippi is mentioned and Nyanga is mentioned, they always mention the high rate of crime. And we have Sibusiso, we have Akona, we have Zianda, Tenge, who went to school with, we have Fanikaya, who have done so well for themselves. Why is it that we do not get the recognition that we want? Because obviously, yes, there is crime, but also there's gems like you who have flown around the world and have shown our talent of what Philippi is capable of what Nyanga is capable of. Why is it that we are not as celebrated as crime is? Because I feel like crime is celebrated more than anything else.
Bad news travel fast, man. Bad news travel fast. I remember when I was in Germany, I met these 5 drunk young men. I think I was on my way to sleep. We were doing like a 3-day festival. 3-day festival. On day number 2, so what we do, like, it's a whole day festival. So we do all our stuff and blah, 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 blah. And then at around 6 p.m. we'd go get drinks and whatnot, socialize. I was a bit tired. The weather was different there. It was winter when I had left here. And so my body was just tired. And I was like, okay, guys, I'm not going to go. I think we were at a beer garden or something like that. I was like, guys, I think I need to walk and go sleep. On my way down, I meet this young man. They're drunk. They're from the same festival, They ask me who I am. I tell them who I am. Oh, they speak in German. So I tell them, no, man, I don't know German. Apparently, almost all the black people that are there who are my skin color are either refugees or immigrants. So one of the first things they do is they get, they must learn Germany. So that they're able to, be incorporated into society. So I speak English. And then one of the questions is where am I from? I tell him I'm from South Africa. And I could tell from his face that this guy thinks I'm from like under a rock. Like I'm from like, maybe I didn't even have bread on my way home or whatever. And one of his questions was, so I'm sure you don't want to go back. He said that. I think he said something like that, but he was also not fluent in English. Because Europeans
they're not.
Are very, very, very patriotic.
Yes,
Europeans.
they want to speak
if
German.
They're French, they know French, English.
If they're Dutch, they speak Dutch.
Yeah. I'm like, no. In fact, I'm tired. I want to leave. I want to go home. And he was like, why? I'm like, no, man, I miss my bed. You know, I miss my work. You know, I miss everything.
I miss South
the food
Africa.
at home. You know, the vibe. And I could tell that as much as I'm saying it in a simple manner, to him, like, it's like, you know. So already there's bad news about South Africa out there in the world. You understand? Even the good story of Springbok winning against England, there's a vacant, you understand? Tag. You understand? Like it's just like the victory of Springbok going to the semi-finals is under here. You know, there's already a slur, you know. So bad news are travel fast. And I think also we as individuals like to entertain that. You understand?
So
Not even one news channel. The only news channel that I knew, I was young, but I was a teenager. But they said it's kids news. It would play in the morning before morning live, between 5 and 6. It was good news all the time.
Yes,
and
all the time.
We need news like that. You understand that? The broadcasters don't have good news. You understand? You read news today, we'll be told what's going, which is okay. Current affairs is okay, but there's also good current affairs. There's you and I sitting here. You understand? The broadcasting. No one wants to come and talk about us. You understand? But if you and I were sitting here,
and
I'm trafficking children. If this place
was trafficking children, there'll be a lot of journalists around.
I would be trending. But now this space is offering a better foundation for children to construct on. No matter how many times I can invite media is not gonna come.
That's what I wanted to get, because that's what I'm getting. That's even you haven't, because based on the fact that you're the first, I would say you're the first black person who is renting a space in Philippi Village, and you are actually you're not renting it for a business. You're renting it for something that is good for community. But yet not much has been said about you. And a lot is happening. I've seen those Yanda Kenge who are doing so well for themselves, and they are from a Philippi, but none of that is mentioned. And every time when Philippi is mentioned, we know of Bramtura who's doing better.
And the sad thing about that is the world, when the world catches your story, the world wants to celebrate you. The world invites you, because all the time when I'm traveling abroad, I'm invited. You understand? I've been invited by the European Union Erasmus, but I've never been to the South African Parliament. You understand? I've been to a parliament in Europe,
but you've never been in a parliament being celebrated.
Even the Minister of Arts and Culture doesn't know me.
You
understand?
But but you are known overseas.
The then leader of the EU in SA had my email, my number. When I built Philippi Music Project, they published it. The Department of Arts and Culture didn't say a thing.
Anything about it.
You understand? The French Institute invited us in Johannesburg, and we had a gala dinner at the Opet Theatre in Braamfontein. You understand? Like, seriously, the world is ready to
celebrate.
Listen. You understand? At some point, the French had put my photo in gardens alongside Bulelani Fuchan.
Yes, I remember.
Like, literally, the world, you understand, is able to give us a platform, which is bigger sometimes. But your local media right now today is not doing anything. You understand? So I guess there's nothing we can do. We can just keep doing what we're doing, and we can only be motivated by the things that motivate us. Because maybe if I'd be big-headed if I would have to come here via the back door, because now I'm
because people know about
I'm a big guy. You understand? And also, more than anything, we look for these resources. You understand? To be able to get to this space. It's hard to get trusted. By the way, you did say that I'm the first black person to not rent. But it's hard to get trusted. With
especially as black young people.
But man, the proof's in the pudding. We're getting proof what we're capable of, and the rest becomes history.
So are we still good? Okay. So thank you, man. I think this reminds me of the first time I saw an article about you. I was on my way to Holland.
And
remember, I still have that article.
Wow,
I screamed so hard and everyone kept on looking at me like, what's wrong with this child? It was me being excited of the fact that you were celebrated in South Africa, but also you were celebrated by people that did not come from South Africa. Because I still remember the person that wrote about you was not South African, but I think it was an intern that wrote for a newspaper that is from South Africa. We'll keep on celebrating you. We'll keep on showing your appreciation of the work that you do, and especially the fact that you didn't want to be the only person that has achieved so much, and since you are the first, but you wanted to pull in people with you, pull up people with you, and it's because of people like you that the world will change. We might not get to where we want to be as society, but because we have people like you, maybe we'll get a glimpse of what other countries get. And keep on pushing. We see what you do, Lofty and I. The reason why we wanted to interview you is because we see the traffic that you bring in Philippi Village. Maybe you might not get the recognition, but because there are people coming in Philippi Village because of you, because such spaces do not have the type of representation that we want, but because you rented in Philippi Village, we are getting the type of representation that we want. So from Lofty and I would like to thank you for the great work that you're doing with our kids and for investing so much money and time. Time is of essence, and the fact that you've decided that out of your busy schedule that you want to do something so great and something so amazing for young people, and introducing them to instruments and changing their mindset and changing their narrative. And we have you to celebrate today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Guys, from Mr. Lofty and I, please. So where do we get you on socials before we close this interview?
Personally, on socials, I'm no longer on Facebook, but on Instagram, I think I'm Sibusiso Nyamakazi, SPU Nyamakazi. On Twitter, I think it's more like, because there's a lot of Sibusisos, I can't give myself
different
names like AKA. So I decided to twist my Sibusiso, which is CYBUCYSO. So it's at Sibusiso that way, CYBUCYSO. On Instagram, I'm Sibusiso Nyamakazi. I mean, on TikTok, I'm Sibusiso Nyamakazi. If you search for Playing for Change Foundation, whether on Twitter, whether on Instagram, whether on YouTube, whether on Facebook, you'll find us. And also Imvula Music Program as well, you'll find us. Even if you just go to Google and put Playing for Change Foundation, you'll get the links.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you to our listeners for keep on supporting us, and please like and subscribe to our channel, and our way to get more content like this one. So we are here to celebrate. We're here to make sure that people that are doing great are celebrated, and this is the only channel that does that, especially people that are from the communities that are not respected or communities that are not seen for anything that is good. So if you keep on supporting us, we'll keep on promoting this type of content. And thank you very much. From me and Mr. Lofty is peace.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is great.
Because I pay the interview to pay. I call it you get real artists watching this thing, real marimba players.
Yeah, they'll be like, why?
I am music literate, so these things are written in the notes.
Oh, okay.
So I'm able to read the notes. So now if you teach me a song here, you teach me maybe for 10 minutes, but Khanyisa, maybe you teach her like for 10 days, because she is not music literate. So
maybe take us through that. Take us through the notes.
All right.
Because now what I see G, A, B, C, and as someone that is music illiterate. So what is this one? What is this soprano?
This is a soprano.
Okay.
So
okay. So is it mixed up? Because I see
this is soprano.
Okay, what is this one?
This is tenor. Okay. So these ones are for tenor, these ones are for soprano. I don't know what this
is. Mixed up. So even the
no, these ones are for bass.
What are these called?
These are called mallets, right? They are mallets.
So what about this one? There's only one.
There shouldn't be one.
So this is tenor?
Yeah, that's tenor.
Okay, so how do I do it? So this is D.
Come
so where exactly do you Khanyisa this thing? Because I see like this is quite long, so where exactly, in order for you to get the right
it depends on the tone of the song, because it's ascending, right?
Okay.
So in school, hold it, you're not gonna picture this.
So
So in school,
with soprano you pick a small one.
Listen.
Okay.
In school, what do they say? Also, in notes. Can you hear that? What it says?
Oh.